For SiriusXM Satellite Radio, I'm Bill Bradley, and this is American Voices. For over 40 years, I've traveled around the country, listening to the stories Americans tell about their lives. So I wanted to create a show where you can hear some of those stories too. Creating art by using a chainsaw.
You ain't got no excuses today, Jack, he said. And I said, well, you're right. And he ran me through two little bear heads. And that afternoon, I really found the love of my life. That's how I found out about chainsaw carving.
Using a chainsaw to make art. It's coming up right now. I'm Bill Bradley. You're listening to American Voices only on SiriusXM Satellite Radio. When you think of a chainsaw, you may not think of art right away, but there are many people across this country that do. They are chainsaw carvers, and they create statues, plaques, and other designs using wood and their chainsaw. Today we have Jack McEntire with us, but to many people, he's better known as Chainsaw Jack. Jack, thanks for joining us on American Voices.
Thank you for having me on the show.
So, how did you first realize that you can make art like this?
Well, I discovered art somewhat late in life, I guess. I wouldn't exactly compare myself to Mother Moses or anything, but I was 39 years old and actually been educated as a microbiologist, but I had a friend. We grew up less than a block away. He was always drawing dragons and warriors with swords in the back, and I was in the front answering questions. We went our own way, and a mutual friend reintroduced us, and my friend Tracy had been doing carvings. And I was, I always knew you'd be an artist. He started out as a plumber, and, well, his knees didn't last long. And he wanted me to try it. And I thought, well, Tracy, you were always the artist. I was a mad scientist. I couldn't draw a straight line. Well, he kept asking me, and I finally had a point where I had a little time off, and he came up. I was staying on his boat even in Paulsbo. You ain't got no excuses today, Jack, he said. And I said, well, you're right. And he ran me through two little bear heads. And that afternoon, I really found the love of my life. I always loved science. I still do. But I really knew in that afternoon I wanted to do this full time, and it's all I wanted to do. It's hard to express when you find something that overwhelming in your life. But that's how I found out about chainsaw carving.
How did you make that happen?
Well, within 1 month, I started making carvings. I got the cheapest little chainsaw I could and an angle grinder, and I started making these little carvings, and all the time I had, and in 1 month, I just started putting on shows, setting up on street corners, and I'd sell to tourists and anyone that came by.
Well, what part of the country?
I'm in Washington State.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the favorite piece you've created?
Well, the favorite piece for the customers are the bears. People love bear carvings. Some of my favorites are the totems and some warriors I've done. The art really just changed my whole life.
What do you like about doing it?
Well, when I'm actually using the saw, I love the power. I love the energy, the ability to create something in such a short period of time, and controlling the medium. With the power that the saw affords you, you can actually push the medium aside. I also do large rock and steel anymore, and snow. But with the chainsaw, it's just such a powerful tool that just it makes the medium do your will.
What kind of chainsaw do you use?
I use all steel chainsaws myself.
Well, what's your favorite part of the process? You're going to start a new piece and you know where you got to go. What are you looking forward to the most?
My favorite part of the process. I love when I get to go to like I said, all my wood is salvage wood. So I go up to the high mountains and I have to get trees that are blown down under 3 special permits. And I almost always see large elk and deer and eagles. I love my time just gathering the logs. When I fire up that big saw to start making the block cuts, that adrenaline, that energy, a little bit of fear is still there. It's exciting. Once that's done and I start making the forms, I get excited about making the muscles or the head or the turn of the eyes some way. And then when I'm getting down to the little stuff, it's my favorite My favorite might be the middle phase, where I'm putting the form on it, I call, after I do the block out, and then it gets to the point where anyone can see, oh, there, that's what he's doing. He's doing an elephant. Oh, no, yeah, that's the Thunderbird. I can see it now.
Right.
The part of that form, yeah.
Well, how long does it take you to carve a piece? Let's say I wanted you to make a bear for me that was 4 feet tall and had a sign on it that says Bill's Place.
Mm-hmm, yep.
What would you, how long would it take?
Well, I can actually do something about that in about an hour and a half.
An hour and a half? That's all?
Yeah. There's nothing like practice. I'm one of the few guys that's gotten this far in his career. I've been doing it for almost 14 years now and numbered every piece he's done. I'm on 2,862 right now. Nothing like a lot of practice.
How much would you charge your old buddy Bill for that 4-foot bear?
If you actually wanted one, Bill, I'd give it to you for half.
No, half. How much do you normally charge?
Normally for a 4-foot bear, it would be about $450. A 3-foot bear is $300.
Let me ask you, you've done this, you were a scientist, and then you started doing this. Was it difficult to give up that career in microbiology?
It's a little scary not having a regular paycheck. There was at least the early part of my carving career 5 or 6 times where I'd be set up at some corner somewhere, look at my watch, and it's going to be dark in 3 hours. I got to make $600 or it's back to reality for Happy Jack, right? Every time I'd make it. And now it's gotten to the point where I'm guaranteed to stay an artist for life. Sitting on that corner, just having to deal with people. The art form actually has made me become an extrovert.
Is there anything you'd like to make with your chainsaw that you haven't yet figured out how to do?
But the one piece I've always thought of is 2 nights on horseback, life-size, reared up at the point of impact, horse biting at horse, left arm of one knight reaching for the left arm of the other knight. I like to carve something where the decision hasn't been made as to who's victorious. If you're depicting something, leave the issue open.
Why leave it open?
It leaves the interpretation up to them.
Jack, thanks for joining us on American Voices today.
Thank you for having me on. I loved the interview.
I've been speaking with Jack McEntire, better known as Chainsaw Jack. For more information on Chainsaw Jack and his artwork, visit his website at chainsawcarving.net.